I want to first of all thank this young lady coming on our call. She is a dynamo, and I want to get her back in July. We all know calling the Taco Lady. She's a lot of fun. I just love her training because she just tells it like it is. She don't hold no punches. She tells you the good, the bad, the difference, and the ugly. And I like she can put the spotlight on herself and tell her how she's grown. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for having her on the call. She hails from Lubbock, Texas. Now, so she moved to Lubbock. Everybody trying to come to Lubbock. She's like, wait a minute, it's my area, it's my town. Wait a minute. Look at your own city. Go down the road. Go ahead. Leave me alone. I got this. Me and Deidre Riley got this. So she is building an organization. She decided one day to pack up. Watch this. That's what I love about her. She decided to pack up and just leave. So I'm going somewhere else. Ain't that a blessing? And just decided to go to Lubbock and put the flag in the ground. So I'm gonna build AC in from here. And before she moved to Lubbock, she called Tony Cooper, said, "Listen, I want you to go so and so in Texas." Go, okay. She said, I just put it together. And see, that's what leadership's about: is doing it, making the commitment, and then go to work and make it real. So without further ado, can we give the Taco Lady a warm welcome? None other Roxann Corralejo.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Thomas, and thank you, everybody. I appreciate that introduction all the time. I don't know why, but Taco Lady still always makes me laugh. Yeah, so I appreciate you. And the topic I want to talk about today is just amazing that you're there in Mexico. You're home in Mexico because it kind of relates to that. And it relates to everything that we were doing this weekend, and that's freedom. And the freedom that we have to be able to do whatever we want to do when we want to do it. It's a Tuesday at the end of May, and Al Thomas is hanging out at his home in Mexico. Why the heck not? Because we have the freedom to be able to do all those things. So I appreciate you for putting that dream back in our minds, and just freshly coming back from Turks and Caicos. But that dream of true actual time freedom, that true actual dream of financial freedom that we all talk about. Everyone talks about it all the time. It doesn't matter what industry they're in, network marketing or not, whether they're working for someone or trying to work for themselves. Everyone has that dream to be financially or time free. And it's just, how do we get there? And it's really difficult for a lot of people to start because they see failure and they don't push through that failure. And I appreciate you bringing up kind of the accomplishments and things that I've done, like moving to Lubbock or getting Mr. Kufis out to San Antonio, because you guys, you can't be scared of a no. You can't be scared of failure. It's part of the process. I don't even want to know how many times Mr. Al Thomas has failed. It's a lot more than me. I can tell you. How do I know? Because he's a lot more successful than me. You can tell how many times someone has failed by how successful they are. And that's the truth. So honing on this word freedom, I have a video I want to share with you guys real quickly.
What will you do without freedom? Will you fight? Fight against that? No! We will run, and we will live. Aye. Fight, and you may die. Run, and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
All right, you guys, if you haven't seen that, I don't know where the heck you've been. It's an oldie but a goodie. Braveheart, and I love it what he says there, and it's been repeated 1,000 times by 1,000 people, but he says, you will run and you will live and you will fight and you may die. And that's the truth. So we celebrate, or we had Memorial Day yesterday for all those people, just to honor them and remember everyone who laid their lives, paid the ultimate price for our freedom to be able to live the lives that we do. And it all comes down to choices, whether people choose to be financially free or not, whether they choose to have that time freedom or not. We have that choice, that freedom, that ability for those people that paid the ultimate price. So freedom is not free. No matter what way you look at it, no matter who's involved, freedom is not free. And we do what we do on Memorial Day. We honor them. We come together. We talk about people we have loved, people we have lost, and we thank those people that have sacrificed to their loved ones for our freedom. But what are we doing for our own freedom? What are you doing to live that life that you want to be, to truly be free? What are you doing? That's how we can honor them truly, is by living the lives that we want to live, to be there, to live that true freedom, to live like Mr. L. Thomas, to be in Mexico at a second home or wherever you guys want to be. Why not a third, fourth, fifth home? All these things are possible. They're obtainable, but it's up to you. It's the choices that boil down to you. Now, we have the ability to do these things. We have them because of where we live, because of our country, but it's up to you to actually go out there and get it. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's going to be in your pocket, doesn't mean that you are guaranteed it. And I like talking about being here in Lubbock. I've had the privilege and honor to work really, really closely with Senior Vice President Mr. MD Rahman. Phenomenal gentleman, very humble, amazing. If you guys don't know his story, he came to the U.S. from Bangladesh. And he talks about when he came to the U.S. and what other people in other countries think about the U.S. because we have this freedom, we have this ability to achieve anything we want to achieve, where so many people are oppressed in so many other countries. They know they have a ceiling. They can't get there. So they come to the U.S. and he says, ma'am, we thought just $100 bills were floating in the air. You just reach out and you grab them and you live the American rich life and the full life. And it wasn't like that. He talks about coming to the U.S., being a New York taxi driver. I'm getting too excited. Let me calm down before I lose this thing again. Being a New York taxi driver, but him and his wife having to share a bedroom in a house full of people they did not know. So he came from a successful businessman in Bangladesh to the U.S., to the land of the free, to live in a room where he shared a bathroom, shared a kitchen with people he did not know. How crazy is that? And then he was presented the opportunity of ACN, and that's where it clicked. He said, okay, this is my opportunity. I was just waiting. And looking and trying to look for something, and he was open. And so what he saw, he ran with it. So his very first home meeting, because we were doing home meetings then, there was no Zoom, his very first home meeting, he talked to everybody from Bangladesh that moved to New York, everybody they knew. He had over 60 confirmations. When was the last time you had 30 confirmations on a Zoom call, on a BON, on a Super Saturday, at an event, an ACN corporate event? When was the last time you had 30, 20, 15 confirmations, just people that say yes? So out of those 60 confirmations, he said 17 showed up. He had 60 people say, yes, I will be there, I got your back, and 17 people showed up. How many people would just quit? This doesn't work. This is too hard. I spent days calling people. I talked to everybody I know. This isn't working. It's not going to work. Just over 11 months, MD Rahman hit regional vice president. In just over 11 months, with 60 confirmations and 17 people actually showing up, where most people would have quit. So when everything boils down to choices, our freedom to make these choices, a lot of people would have just given up and quit. And he didn't. He said, it doesn't matter, I'm still going. I still need to do this. I need to get my house a wife. And now he's hilarious and he's amazing. He's like, I could rent out a bathroom. I have more bathrooms than I do people in my house. Between him, his wife, his kids, he's like, I can rent out a bathroom. This comes down to us. We have all the opportunity in the world, traveling to Colombia and seeing the way that they live and how fortunate that ACN came out to Colombia and how it filled their hearts. You guys, people were out there getting loans to pay for an ACN position. They were coming together as a family, as friends, putting in all their money to pay for one position, hitting the bonus to pay for another position, hitting the bonus to pay for another position. They did whatever it took. So a lot of times when people ask me, what is it that you do? And I said, whatever it takes. Roxann, how did you become so successful? Whatever it takes. How did Lubbock get to be so big for you? I did whatever it takes. Are you doing whatever it takes? Are you making those choices to be successful? And I see Marvetta shaking her head, and every time she's like, yep, you got it, girl. You nailed it on the head. And every single time I hear people's success stories, I'm thinking I got to do better. So some of y'all are hearing me and you're like, I got to do better. I got to be like Roxann. I'm like, no, I got to be like MD Roman. And I joke with him all the time. I'm like, I want to make that MD money. Where's that MD money? That's what I want to make. We all can do better. We all can do more. What's keeping us from it? Whatever's keeping you from your level of success is all on you. I have no idea what that is. It could be family sometimes. It could be the fear of rejection. Last week, we talked about getting uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, I really hope some of you guys went out there and did something that made you uncomfortable. That is why I'm able to do these things. That's why I asked Mr. Kupis to come out to San Antonio, because again, what's the worst he can say? Hit RVP, hit SVP, no, I'll never go. Whenever Mr. Trolley invites me, well, then guess who I'm gonna bug next is Mr. Trolley. You have to be uncomfortable, and no one else has ever asked him to do something like that. That's why he was taken back and shook. How are there so many reps, so many people that he shakes hands with, that he takes pictures with, that he talks to, that he guides? Nobody has ever asked him. That never crossed my mind. Nobody's ever asked him because they're scared, because it's, oh my gosh, it's Tony Kupis. And yes, that's why I was there. I worked my butt off to get in the same room with him just to ask him that question. Winning that whatever the contest that they had put out in front of us was never for me. And I tell that to everybody. When people get to share these experiences with all these people, these regional vice presidents, these senior vice presidents, they take pictures, they're having a good time. It's not for you. It's not for me. It's for our teams. It's to share. So everything that I posted, I took pictures. I did everything for my team. It wasn't, yeah, I made it, but it was more of how can I get my team here next? Are you guys showing your team that they have those choices? They can have that freedom, but also it's up to them. We can only take them so far. Just like where we are today, the life that we're able to live here in the US, it's given to us, but how many people actually take it? How many people are there building someone else's dream? I heard just this last week, a friend of mine was asking me, she says, hey, my dad wants more information on Impact. She's on Impact. She said, hey, my dad wants more information on Impact. How do I do that? And I said, just have him call me. That's where the first start is, have him call me. But it's because his employer, they have 6 kids. They take in foster kids, phenomenal, amazing man. They live in Reno, so they don't even live in Texas. But with his employer, they had an investor just pouring in money and keeping the business afloat. And then the investor just walked out without word. They said, nope, I'm done giving y'all money. That's it. I can do that. Every single person lost their jobs. Her dad was one of them. Out of nowhere, 6 kids. They lost their jobs. They also lost their health insurance. He lost his retirement. Nothing else going into his retirement. All these things just dropped. And now he's out there. He had hired a headhunter. He's like, I can't survive a week without like trying to go out there and do something. But some people, after losing their job, will go into a depression. Will get anxiety. Will sit there. Will do nothing. Well, what's going to happen? What's next? Y'all, this could be the answer of their prayers, but because you are holding yourself back, you are not sharing this opportunity with other people. So other people are missing out on stuff that they didn't even know was out there because you're holding yourself back. So whatever it is, identify it. And I truly, that's why my conversation last week was getting uncomfortable, because I truly believe if you guys don't care what people think and go out there and get uncomfortable, it doesn't matter what happens and you can be more successful. For me, moving out to Lubbock, now I'm going to switch a little bit to Lubbock. And again, it goes all down to choices that we make. I made that choice without even thinking about it, saying, hey, I'm going to move to Lubbock. So it was a slow start. I had to talk to people. And I tell you all the time, one girl came up to me. She's like, oh, you're that girl that's trying to recruit people. No, I don't want to talk to you. Okay, no biggie. I don't care. Next. Like, it doesn't matter. But through August is when I moved. Didn't start having some good production until December. So that's several months. We talked about how many of y'all would have quit after one meeting and having all those no-shows. How many of y'all would have tried for several months after presentation, after presentation, after presentation, nobody in the area to help you. And you're just keep going and going and going and going and talking to new people. Some people say I have no one else to talk to. Guess what? I had 0 person. I didn't even have one in Lubbock. I didn't know someone who knew someone who knew someone that could make an introduction. I started from the bare minimum, from scratch, absolutely nothing. So it takes time to build. So we built that, started having production in December. In January, we had 100 people meetings, 150 people meetings, 200 people at a BOM. That large event, there probably could have been close to 300 people, not all on my team, because then people started seeing what was going and they started coming. Like Mr. Thomas said, everyone wanted to start building in Lubbock. But guess what? Nobody moved. Not one single person actually moved themselves to live here and build, except myself. What was keeping them from doing that? Whatever it was, they could have had so much more success. But January was phenomenal. That January 9th event where everything was broadcasted and we had that huge event where people plugging in. We had close to 300 people. We rented out a theater downtown Lubbock for this event. Now here we are, everything's a learning experience. We pushed March hard because January is when deregulation actually happened in Lubbock. We had 6 weeks to sign up 108,000 electricity accounts. 6 weeks. And then all those accounts started in March. They start flipping over in March. So we just kept pushing electricity, pushing the sign up, pushing March. And what happened after March? At one event, 300 people. What happened after March? Because all we did was put March in their mind, and it started going down. Our last BOM, this last Thursday, we're still having BOMs once a week, getting people in person. We had 12 people. From a few hundred to 12 people at a BOM in just a matter of months. Now, what does that do to someone's morale? What does that do to someone's choices, the choices they choose to make? Because the numbers started declining, reps that were going religiously every single week, they're like, well, it's the same information, I'm not gonna go. I don't have any guests, I'm not gonna go. So we went down, then back to 200, back to 100, back to 50, back to 40, then 30, then now we're at 12 people. It's because people start falling off, and those are the choices. But there's that handful of 12 that still stick around. That handful that are me, that still stick around. You guys are that 12. Week after week, you're on this call. Day after day, you're on this call. You're absorbing the information, you're learning, because you know that freedom is out there. But something is holding you back from going out there and getting it, taking that bull by the horns. You're tired at the end of the day. You had all these jobs that went awry. You had all this trouble. You're not in the right mindset. Push yourself out of that right mindset, because you know what? Sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, all I do is I call someone that I can hear them smile over the phone. Listen, I need to hear you smile over the phone because I got to get to work. Some people will sit on the couch, watch TV. Some people will just, hey, I need a drink. Just go to the bar and grab a drink. And they're like, oh, well, I picked 5 people at the bar. Guess how many rock stars you're going to get at the bar? Not very many. They may sign up. That bartender may use her tips for that night. It sounds amazing, but she's been a bartender for 15 years because she lacks that ambition, and that's okay. That is okay. You're showing her there's an opportunity. You're showing them that there's a dream, but we actually got to go out there and get it. And I get that we get tired. I get that work gets in the way. I get that people lose their jobs and he has to find a full-time job. He cannot start ACN and expect to be rich overnight and be able to support his family, support his kids, get all that stuff. So it's not the right timing for him. But guess what? Now he knows there's an opportunity, because now he knows that he could lose any job he has without warning. Anybody that works for anybody can lose it without warning. All we can do is present it to them. How many people have you presented to so far this week? This weekend? Everybody was off this weekend. How many people did you present to? Or did you just eat and barbecue and hang out? Were you actively showing people? Were you actively working? If so, how many? Did you put 50 people in a room? Because everybody got together. Man, I had a team I was working with. She's like, hey, we're having a baby shower, but I want you to present before we start the baby shower because everyone's going to be there. And I'm like, hold up. They all got to know this is going to be a business meeting first, or else it's not going to work. Do you have that ambition? Do you have that ambition to get everybody in a room just to show them, just to say, hey, look, we might get 1 or 2 reps. Oh, wow, we keep going and we keep pushing. Everything boils down to choices. We have this freedom to do whatever we want or to not do whatever we want, to make these choices and not make these choices. So as we sit and we celebrated this weekend and we thought about and brought to memory and told stories of everybody that we've lost that laid their lives down for us, are we truly taking advantage of that freedom that we have at our hands? So many in West Texas, I talk to so many people, and I think it's just a different environment out here that haven't traveled anywhere. People are in their 30s and their 40s, their 50s. I've been to Dallas a couple times. I went to San Antonio once when I was 9. San Antonio's 5 hours away. What do you mean? You've never been on a plane? This is crazy. It just is because they're stuck in their own little world, or they think about money. Absolutely. Sam Foster's is like, it's a mindset. And I talk to so many people, it's like, man, I've always wanted to go to California. And guess what my first question is? Well, why haven't you? Exactly. Sam knew it. Why not? I always want to go, well, why haven't you? It's a couple $100 for a flight, maybe $100 in gas if you want to drive. Why haven't you? Because the first thing they say, it's money. Cool. Have you spent money on things you shouldn't have spent money on before? Do you have an Amazon account? Do you drink coffee every single day from Starbucks? Do you go out and you get lunch every single day at work and you don't bring your lunch? So it's not money. What is keeping you from achieving your ACN success? Because I know for those people in traveling to California, it's not money. There's something else keeping them. I don't know what it is. I travel all over the place. I couldn't tell you because nothing's keeping me. I will go out there and I will get it. I will move to a new city. So that's not keeping me. What is it? It's up to you to identify. So I want you to take home today is just write down your reasons. You might not even know. It might take some time. Write in a journal. Why aren't you? Why haven't you piqued 50 people this week? Why haven't you talked to 100 people this week? Why aren't you going out there and doing new things, joining sports, talking to new people, joining network marketing team or networking groups? Why aren't you going out there and doing these things and implement what people have talked about here? I know Miss Carrie Roeder, one of my favorite things that she did, and it brought it to mind because I already know some of these things you know. Hey, thank those customers that you already have to get them to send you new customers. How many of you guys have actually done that? How many of you guys, Jackie Black, she was like, yep. And I truly believe that because guess what? Jackie Black just got promoted. She's implementing the tools she's learning here to get promoted and do the things that she needs to do. Are you guys going out there implementing what you need to implement and do the things that you need to do? So there was no learning today, you guys. It was just trying to get you to think about yourself. Only you know what's holding you back. So think about yourself, write it down, keep a journal, try to identify what the true reason is. And for a lot of you, it boils down to being uncomfortable. I can promise you that. And if being uncomfortable with ACN is a problem, like I mentioned, go out there, do something that makes you uncomfortable. Jump on top of a table and just scream. Whatever it is, people are going to look at you and say, you're crazy. Guess what? Someone's going to come to you and say, hey, are you okay? You're going to say, yeah, I'm just excited because I have this amazing opportunity. Are you open to making more money? That's how you identify those red apples. So you guys go out there, get uncomfortable, celebrate the freedom that we have and go out there and get it. I know I'm not optimizing the freedom that I have, and I'm working on it. I'm working my tail off. I'm going to get it. But guess what? I need to work harder. I need to work harder because I want to be exactly where Mr. L. Thomas is. So I definitely want to give it back to you. Thank you for always opening my eyes, always letting me know that there is more out there, but not only more for myself, but more I can share with other people. Because whatever I do for myself, being out there in Mexico, he's celebrating, but he's telling us so we know that dream is out there. So who can you inspire to do better? Who can you tell and let know, hey, you can do more than just this. Life is a bigger world out there. So thank you, Mr. Thomas. I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and hand this call back to you.